Coffee. It's something we drink every day, and it's loved by many in the North East. I've been to Rounton Coffee Roasters to learn a little bit more about how it's made.
So I'm Dave Beattie and I'm the founder of Rounton Coffee Roasters. So Rounton Coffee, I started Rounton Coffee around about 10 years ago, and the reason Rounton Coffee came to existence was because I quit my job. I was working as a chemical engineer and I really enjoyed my job, but I just wanted to travel. So I quit my job, I got on a train, and then I disappeared around the world on a train. And I was away for a full year. But whilst I was away, I realised coffee kind of awakened me, I guess. I spent some time in Sumatra, and while I was in Sumatra, I saw them roasting coffee, and I thought it was just such a romantic and beautiful thing to see and to witness. I'd never seen it before. So at that point on, I just needed to know more. At least when I found coffee in Sumatra, it did give me a little bit of a sense of purpose. So fast forward a little bit, I came back and got a job, but the purpose for me was all about creating a market for coffee. But so I bought a coffee roaster, I had that imported, and then we just started roasting coffee and learning and just been on that journey. And we've been on that journey ever since, from bean to cup. Is about knowing where the coffee comes from, learning about the growers that grow the coffee and making sure that they get paid, proper money for their crop. And nothing has changed from the foundations of the business that was set up 10 years ago to what it is now. So one of the things that we do, I would say different, is that we are a coffee roaster. So we roast the coffee. So we import the coffee with our import partners, we select the coffee, we grade the coffee, we actually roast it in small batches in a small village in East Rounton. So I guess our USP is the fact that we literally bring the green coffee in from origin, we roast it in small batches, and we package it and we send that off to customers, whether it's a customer who's sat at home who just wants a nice brew, or whether it's a coffee shop or a restaurant who want to have, truly sustainable coffee. One of the things that we have done as well, which we are really pleased and proud of, is the whole 1% element, because setting up the business was all around about sustainability and about an ethical supply chain. And we've managed to do that over all of this time. But the cherry on top is to be able to now contribute positively to local environmental charities within our area. So for the past sort of 12 months or so, we've been members of 1% for the Planet. And what that means is that 1% of our turnover, not profit, turnover, goes to environmental charities.
Not only have I been to their roastery, but I have also been to their coffee house in Norton.
Hi, my name's Colette. So why the North East and coffee? The North East has a friendly family feel. Here in Norton, it's a lovely town to work in. We like the coffee house to feel like a home for our customers when they walk in, so they feel relaxed. What sets our coffee house back from others is the award-winning coffee, of course, and the amazing staff and beautiful customers. So what else do we do here in Norton for the local community? Pop-up events, bringing in local produce, cupping events from the coffee experts over in East Rounton, coffee tasting events. We're soon to open more hours on an evening, which with sup clubs, coffee tasting, book and craft clubs, and it's hopefully going to bring more people together from the community. So what's good about working in the coffee industry in the North East? I think it's that we're all passionate about coffee and it's great fun.
It's all good looking at how it's made, but there are also many communities here in the North East as well. One of them is at Cafe Etch in Middlesbrough.
My name's Bethan and I'm the manager here at Cafe Etch. And as well as being a cafe, we put on events such as gigs, We host comedy nights, art exhibitions, creative workshops. The space transforms on the evenings, so during the day we are just a cafe, a creative cafe at that, and on the evenings completely transform to a safe place for gigs and art exhibitions. I think we've established ourselves as quite a nice space that people feel safe in and they want to come out. Yeah, so typically when the cafe first opened, we appealed to a lot of students. I don't know what changed really, but in the past year, the daytime clientele tends to be like older people, retired people, people who pop into town maybe to use the bank, and this has become like the spot for them to come to. So we get a lot of the same regulars passing through every day or every other day. And it is an older crowd, but you know, we still do get younger students as well. A lot of people come into the cafe and actually say it reminds them of a European style cafe, which I guess isn't but it's unique to Middlesbrough that we are a space that feels so different, like a safe haven. You step inside the doors and you can watch the world go by and you see like the town kind of deteriorating, unfortunately, but when you sit in the cafe it's like you're in a new world. And I think that's what we're most proud of, is creating like a unique space that feels like it's not as if the North East is like somewhere you want to escape from, but in a town like Middlesbrough, it's sometimes you feel unsafe, or sometimes it feels very bleak and dull, and I think this cafe like adds a splash of colour. It's like, yeah, it's special in that kind of sense, yeah.
Another community here in Middlesbrough is Baker Street Kitchen. They're a little bit larger, but just as good.
I'm Colin Gray. I'm a floor manager here at Baker Street.
My name's Abby, and I'm a deputy manager here at Baker Street Kitchen. The one thing about our community, I'd say, is we have a very diverse community. When you think of the typical coffee shops, you get the sort of same people in, whereas we have a group of elderly who come in regularly, we have younger people, we have a lot of school kids who come in after school. There's so many different ages, there's new mums. I think the thing about our community is we're quite well priced here, which means that we get a lot of people walk through our doors.
We get a large range, but most of them are quite kind, very lovely. Like I said, quite a mix of both the uni students and mainly elderly, but I'd say we hardly ever get a bad customer in.
I'd say with the North, I've found, I travel down south quite often, and I have a friend who lives down there, and I find that sort of community is a lot more, it's a lot better up here in the north. People are a lot more friendlier, not against the south or anything at all, but I have found that people are more likely to speak to each other. You know, there's a lot more stranger conversations. I think it's, even though Middlesbrough has its reputation for being the worst place to live, I think it's probably one of the most friendliest places to live. I've also found that stereotypically the people who you would deem rough seem to be more friendlier than the people you wouldn't think would be, if that makes sense.